Welcome to the podcast Beyond Bits and Bytes, brought to you by BizTech Global. Welcome to you if you have listened to our podcast before, and welcome also to you if you are a new listener joining us for the first time. Beyond Bits and Bytes podcast is designed to raise your awareness of the latest developments in the society and in technology. Its aim is to help you become more productive as an individual and more competitive and profitable as a business using the latest skills and digital tools. BizTech Global is a technology solutions provider, a Microsoft Gold partner. Our services include software development, cloud migration, quality assurance, and data engineering. My name is Mervyn Silva. I have worked for the past 3.5 decades in the UK within the IT industry, both in public and private sectors, designing, developing, implementing technology solutions to improve service efficiency, profitability, and customer experience. This is our 5th episode. It's going to be a solo episode. Here we are looking at skills that can be used to improve teams, effectiveness and communication within teams. So let's start. Have you ever been a part of a team whose members were all open and honest with one another? If so, then the chances are you worked extremely effectively together. There was no tension. Instead, there was so much energy and laughter, that so much so that work felt like fun. You and your colleagues most likely knew each other's strengths, weaknesses, accepted and supported them, enjoyed a high level of trust. That is when humans perform at their optimum level. Such a positive working environment usually helps create top-performing, tight-knit teams. Teams rely on a combination of self-awareness, trust, to run like finely tuned machines. But how do you build those qualities? I first came across this concept, this model, a couple of decades ago. Like all great models, teaching aids, it is an easy way of explaining something more profound. It's quite a powerful tool that anyone could use quite effectively in different situations. You could use it between friends, within families, or in work teams to great advantage. I was fascinated by its simplicity and power because it works. As a result, I began using it regularly since, and it has become part of my toolkit. I have used it as a teacher with students, as a manager with work teams. It is particularly effective when used with a group of people who meet regularly and work together. You could meet and socialize regularly with people without ever using this tool, as most people do. However, using this tool improves the quality of relationship and deepens mutual understanding. So, what am I talking about? What is this tool, this great model? And it's called Johari Window. Johari Window is a visual framework that you could use in your team to develop better self-awareness among members of your conscious and unconscious biases. You could use it to compare what you consider to be your strengths and weaknesses to others' perception of them. Johari Window is split into 4 quadrants. The first one is the open area, things you know about yourself. Next one is the blind area, things others see and know about you but unknown to you. Third quadrant is called the hidden area, things you know about yourself, but you keep hidden from others. The fourth is the unknown area, things that are unknown to you and to others. The idea of Johari Window was introduced by the two psychologists, Joseph Luft and Harry Ingham, back in the year 1955. Johari Window may look complicated, but it's easy to understand and use. It is split into these four quadrants, each of which contains information about things about you, pursued about yourself, and pursued by others. Open area represent things that you know about yourself, that others know about you as well, your behaviors, skills, attitudes, and that's public history. The ideal Johari window, as the diagram shows, is to have a large open area achieved by pushing the boundary right as well as pushing the boundary down. This is because, in general, the more that people know about themselves and one another, more productive and cooperative and trusting they will be when working together. How this is done to make the open area large is by asking, this is my open area, quadrant 1. I'm asking other people, encourage them, asking for feedback to tell me things they see, they know, they perceive about me that are currently blind to me, unknown to self. If I can create the climate, if I can ask and encourage others to share those with me, my blind area gets narrower, my open area gets wider. The second option is to share with others things so far I have kept just known to myself. By exercising judgment, sharing what is appropriate so that the hidden area, things that are hidden about me from others, get smaller, shorter. So feedback and self-disclosure are the two ways of achieving that, and it's called shared discovery. And the idea is to make the unknown area, quadrant 4, as small as possible. The blind area represents things about yourself that you aren't aware of, but that others know about you. For example, you might know that you're a great listener until someone points it out to you. It can also reveal deep issues such as feelings of incompetence or anger that you haven't faced up to, but others sense in you. A small blind area indicates that you are aware of how your behavior is affecting other people, whereas a large blind area suggests that you may be naive or even in denial about it. A large blind area could also mean that your colleagues are keeping what they know about you to themselves. No one works at their best when they are in the dark. So it is important to reduce the size of your blind area. You can do this by following the idea of feedback and self-disclosure within teams. The hidden area represents things that you know about yourself, but you keep hidden from other people. You don't need to share all the private information, thoughts and feelings with your colleagues. Naturally, you don't want to reveal anything that would make you feel embarrassed or vulnerable. It's not expected. Withholding information is perfectly reasonable if it has no bearing on your work. However, hiding information about yourself that's related to your work or to your performance could lead to your workers having less trust in you. So, if your Johari window has a large hidden area, you could try to be more open with them. Self-disclosure is the way to achieve that. The unknown area, quadrant 4, represents things that are unknown to both you and others. For example, you may have some dazzling untapped abilities that neither you nor anyone else knows so far. A large unknown area may just be a sign of youth and inexperience, but it can also mean that you need to work hard to discover and release this new information, new talents that you possess. Remember, the quadrants can change size over time and circumstances. Because they are interdependent, changing the size of one quadrant will also change the size of others. Let's look at the practical way, an exercise of how we can try this out. Imagine a situation that you are a small work group that you want to try out, practice, and get good at using Johari Window, giving and receiving feedback. Try this out. To begin with, you could have a set of words. Now, this is an example. You could use it, but with practice, when you feel confident, you can adapt other words, even in other languages, to suit the team. A group meets, has a broad understanding of the Johari Window principle, how it works, and then use this vocabulary, this sort of words, and you can put them in front, project it on a whiteboard. So it's there, and the group meets, and there are sheets of paper. Each one has a sheet of paper with each team member's name on, and the handouts of the wording. So what they do is, one person says, right, I will go first, and invite the rest of the group, say, would you please take a bit of time and put circles on this list of words for attributes you see, you think that I possess. And people do that in one way, so it's for the first person. And then, after a few minutes, agreed time, say, right, would you please share with me what you have marked? And each person takes their turn to read them out. At the beginning, I myself have put circles around some of the words I think I possess. And then when people give feedback, it confirms what I thought I had. They also confirm, they also notice. And also, in addition to that, they may have circled and read out other attributes, one or more people. So in a way, things that I have been blind to, I didn't even know I possess, and they have noticed and shared with me, thereby broadening, moving right the vertical column of my known area into the, pushing it right to the unknown area, broadening my understanding. And you can repeat that. Each person goes round and taking their turns and others giving feedback. So that is giving feedback. The other half is disclosure. As the second half, you may have written down to say, well, these are some secrets, some achievements, whatever it is, that each one takes time to write down and share with the group, telling a little bit about themselves the others did not know about. Let's move on. So, sharing, going through this exercise of understanding the window, its four quadrants, how their sizes can be moved through feedback and self-disclosure is the start. And having some key words, some thoughts that you want to share is the second one that you can create within your given situation, work circumstances. Now, an important point to look at is the skills of receiving feedback, giving feedback. This doesn't come naturally. First of all, being aware is important. Second one, want to develop is important. And then you need to practice. Let's look at receiving feedback. Ability to give and receive feedback and is an effective part, an important part of Johari Window, without which it won't work. And that's key, very important in team building. If you are the person wanting to receive feedback, it's important that you actively ask for feedback Don't assume people automatically give. Not only ask, but also both verbally and non-verbally, you need to do things to encourage and make it easy for people to give feedback. Would you mind giving me your feedback or sharing your thoughts on this? That is a way verbally asking. In addition to asking, it's also important that you create the conditions, facilitate and encourage others, particularly those with less experience and confidence, to give you feedback. Quite important if you happen to be older than the others in the group or if you are in a more senior position, because people will need that encouragement to feel confident to give you the feedback. To give you feedback and tell you things about yourself, your performance that they see, they observe. Things like eye contact, active listening, possibly nodding and echoing back what you have heard, demonstrate that you are interested and you have understood and you are willing to receive feedback. So those are some of the key things about how to encourage feedback. The second half is the skills of giving feedback. It is a skill that you need to develop, you need to practice over time for it to be good at. It takes the confidence to give your views and observations and opinions to another person, what you think to another person, particularly in a face to face situation. Some people find it so difficult that they won't send it by email, but for team building, communication face to face is a skill that you need to develop. It does help significantly if the person receiving feedback has got those experience and skills and they do the things, the signals to encourage feedback, but that itself take time to develop. In this exercise we have just limited it to reading out from a pre-made list to give you the idea, the practice, sharing what you have identified on the list, the attribute belonging to another person. But in real life, feedback can be more complex and can be developed, hence it needs time. It is a skill that you can develop through practice. Quite a bit, there's a lot of literature available on giving and receiving feedback you might want to read up on. Also, observing, emulating what other people with more experience, modes of good practice does help. People who are good at providing feedback, using appropriate language, and also receiving feedback, giving feedback. The key thing is to bear in mind, for feedback to be useful, it needs to be objective, not subjective. It should not be free. It should be free from emotions. Do not give feedback when you are emotionally charged, when you are angry, sad, or upset, because it doesn't help the receiver. It needs to be objective, not subjective. It should be free from emotions, and particularly do not use particularly those that could be regarded as negative and blaming. That is not feedback. It does not belong here. Uh, if you have watched the TV programs such as Sri Lanka Has Got Talent or Britain Has Got Talent, you may have seen the panel when a young, nervous person performs on the stage, and looking to this panel, who are the experts, the sort of way they give feedback. You may have heard phrases like, "I like the way you sang, you were clear and melodious," and you can see the faces lighting up. "I like the way you dance, you moved with such grace and elegance." Keep in mind, for feedback to work, the recipient needs to be able to identify with the feedback you give to what they have done, and that they can take some action if they want to further improve. So, in this podcast, we looked at the concept of the model called Johari Window and its 4 quadrants, and the importance of receiving feedback, giving feedback to enlarge the open area, the known area. And we identified we could use that Johari window as a model through communication, through feedback and sharing, to improve communication, self-understanding, self-knowledge of an individual, and also for improving the communication and relationship within the team. Uh, Hope you found this concept useful, folks. If you like similar ideas, let us know, and we could introduce some of those interesting self-development, team building ideas in future podcasts. Goodbye. Thank you.